I've played a good number of card games. Yu-Gi-Oh!, specifically Master Duel and Duel Links, Pokemon's TCG Online client, Cardfight Vanguard, both the physical and mobile counterparts, a splash of Hearthstone and Shadowverse, and even some niche ones like Mabinogi Duel. Most of these games appealed to me simply because there was an anime associated with them, regardless of whether or not the shows were good. I am simply a weeb. But today's video is about a game that's been collecting dust in my Steam library for almost a year now, and I finally decided to pick it up and play it for its 1-year anniversary. And get this, it doesn't have an anime. This is Inscryption. Spoiler warning, you've been warned. Take a moment to stop the video and play the game if you haven't already if you don't want to be spoiled. Drop a like down below while you're at it. Alright, onto the video. Inscryption, developed by Daniel Mullins, was released on Steam on October 19, 2021, exactly 1 year ago from when this video was uploaded. According to the Steam page, it blends the deck-building roguelike, escape room-style puzzles, and psychological horror into a blood-laced smoothie. Pretty simple, right? Wrong. Let's start from the top. Leshy, who is the scribe of Beast and one of the 4 scribes in the game, is the main antagonist of Act 1 and the one preventing you from leaving the cabin. He serves as a game master and you as the player are trapped into playing his campaign, but at the very least he goes out of his way to explain the rules of the game before you begin. The gameplay feels a bit like Yu-Gi-Oh! In that smaller monsters are easier to summon while stronger monsters or monsters with better abilities may require 1 or more tributes. The simplicity makes it easy for both beginners and veterans of card games to understand how to play Inscryption. However, there is an extra layer in that there are various ways to improve your cards, such as through surgery, sacrifice, or by sitting by a campfire surrounded by hungry hooligans. As someone who has played a lot of card games, my initial thought going into the campaign was to just beat every level and power up my cards along the way. However, the game punished me for beating the first phase of a boss battle too fast and too soon. The entire field of Leshy's side of the board was replaced with grizzly bears, one of the strongest cards in Act 1. And although the wall of bears is possible to overcome, I just did not have the heart of the cards, could not activate my Psyqualia, did not draw my out. It was rough. Losing forces you to start over, but allows you to construct a death card consisting of the costs, stats, and sigils or abilities of 3 different cards that were in your deck during that playthrough. To top things off, Leshy uses his camera to take a picture of you, trapping your soul inside of the death card you created. This gives the player the opportunity to create a really strong card to assist them in their next run. The death card doesn't automatically appear in your starting deck, but you have the chance to add it to your deck later on when you're given the choice between it and 2 other cards. I watched GameMaker Toolkit's video on how games use feedback loops, and Mark describes this as a negative feedback loop. Negative feedback loops give players better opportunities when they are behind in the game and not so much when they are ahead. Think of Mario Kart when they give slower racers better power-ups than the racers in the lead. Inscryption does such a great job at this negative feedback loop that it doesn't feel too terrible having to restart over and over again. This makes the game feel less overwhelming if you are behind and less underwhelming if you are ahead. In the next run, I made it past the point where I lost before, and I even beat the final boss of the act on the first try. Normally at this point, like in card game anime, if you beat the main antagonist in a card battle, they wither away or get sent to the Shadow Realm, but I found myself face to face with Leshy once again, who had presented a cake to celebrate my triumph over his campaign. In commemoration of my victory, I was taken to the same room where Leshy had taken my picture before for the death card, but this time the camera was right next to me. I thought this was finally reaching the end game and I could take a picture of Leshy and trap his soul into a card, but to my surprise, there was no film in the camera. And after Leshy had taken the camera from me and taken my picture, I found myself back at the beginning. Inscryption does a great job of guiding the player without holding the player's hand. Newer Pokemon games receive a lot of criticism for forcing the player to stay on one path of the game, something they are trying to avoid in the upcoming Scarlet and Violet games. The deck you start with at the beginning of every run in Inscryption contains the Stoat, who strangely enough has the ability to talk. The Stoat hints that there are other cards hidden within the cabin that you are able to find through various puzzles, and these are the Stink Bug and the Stunted Wolf. If the player is not able to find the Stink Bug card, the Stoat hints that there is a code hidden in the rulebook, and this code is a combination to the safe containing the Stink Bug. Likewise, after enough deaths, if the player hasn't completed all the steps necessary to find the Stunted Wolf, Magnificus appears in a cutscene to show the player the next step. Players like me who are too focused on the card game aspect of Inscryption probably won't go to explore the cabin unless prompted to, such as when Leshy tells the player to get up and grab dropped a candle by the door after losing for the first time. The cabin contains lots of puzzles that not only give the player cards, but also items to use in battle and objects to help the player progress in the story. The stunted wolf is hidden with the camera film roll needed to successfully beat Leshy once and for all. All I needed to do was to replay through the campaign again, and although it seems frustrating having to repeat all the bosses, the game does a great job of being replayable. Along with having the opportunity to retrieve your previous death cards, players who repeat the game multiple times will start to notice that the talking cards are slowly changing to match the appearances of the respective scribes sealed within them. Of course, this provides no gameplay advantage for the player, but it's a cool addition for players that don't beat this part of the game right away. The downside of being someone who focused more on the battling than anything else is that I definitely missed out on a lot of secret events, but someone who likes to explore, solve escape room puzzles, and solve mysteries would definitely enjoy Inscryption to its fullest. After beating the final boss yet again with the camera film roll in hand, I was finally able to take a picture of Leshy and send him to the Shadow Realm. The new game option that was unavailable at the start of the game sits in the center of the room you're in after defeating Leshy. Once you obtain the new game option and return to the main menu, you can finally start Act 2, and that marks the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to drop a like down below because your support is greatly appreciated. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.